from our 7 Tasmania studios. Your nightly news with Louise Hubar begins now.
Back home, and thousands of Tasmanians have made a last-minute dash to get their votes in before the 6 o'clock cut-off. While recent polling has been favourable for Labor, experts say nothing is guaranteed, with 3 seats in our island state well and truly up for grabs.
After 5 weeks of campaigning across the Apple Isle, it's all come down to this. Punters queuing up to cast their ballots. Politicians too, seizing final photo opportunities. And not shying away from an Aussie election day tradition either.
Election day is always a celebration of our democracy, and I've been working hard, not just over the last 5 weeks, but over many years to deliver for the people of Franklin.
High-profile independent candidate Peter George, who's championed the anti-salmon push, is hoping to reel in the long-serving member of Franklin.
Voting.
Lyons, the most tightly held seat in the state, is set to be a key battleground for the major parties. Liberal candidate Susie Bauer closing the gap to 0.9% at the last election, aiming to get across the line this time, while Rebecca White's looking to hold it for Labor, drawing on star power and years of political experience.
It's been seen as more like Labor should hold it, but there's not a lot of seat polling of any quality that's public.
The 2 Liberal-held northern seats of Braddon and Bass are also said to be in play, a stark contrast to Clark, where independent Andrew Wilkie is widely considered by experts to be safe.
Is Andrew Wilkie going anywhere?
Well, back to Canberra.
The incumbent spending part of his morning at a local polling station.
101 people, 101 things to talk about. There's been much made at this election about the cost of living.
Along with another bread and butter issue.
The problem of health, particularly in the rural districts, is a key issue. And given that Tasmania is the most rural state in Australia, it is one that impacts here more than elsewhere.
As for the 6 Senate seats in this election,
generally off the margins for last time, it is hard to argue a case for anything other than 2 Labor, 2 Liberal, 1 Green, Jackie Lambie.
And political reporter Anthony Dodd joins us from outside the Hobart City Hall voting station. Good evening, Anthony. Counting's now underway. What can we expect here in Tasmania?
Lou, while some experts say the incumbents in Franklin and Clark are expected to hold on, it's the 3 other lower house seats which could come down to the wire. Now, the major parties have certainly spent a lot of time and are promising to spend a lot of money in Lyons, which, as we heard just before, is currently held by Labor by a 0.9% margin. Both the major parties see it as a key part of their roadmaps to victory. Bass is also hanging by a thread of 1.4% for the Liberals, and it's considered game on in Braddon, with the Liberals putting up candidate Mal Hengston, with current member Gavin Pearce stepping down, and Labor putting forward Anne Urquhart in a bid to flip it. But with the votes expected to be close in those 3 seats, we might not actually know who secures them until at least tomorrow, Lou.
All right, well, we'll see. Thank you, Anthony, live there in Hobart. It's one of our most volatile seats, turning through 7 MPs since the turn of the century, but tonight it may well settle. For the first time in 35 years, the Liberals could hold on to Bass for 3 consecutive elections, as long as it can outlast a red-hot Labor finish.
The big Bass battle. Will Bridget Archer keep it blue?
I don't think I could have done any more, I think, is the bottom line. I've worked really hard for 6 years. I didn't just turn up 5 weeks ago.
Or will wildcard newbie Jess Teasdale swing it back to Labor? The first-time candidate confident she's done enough.
We've done every single thing we can. Physically, we couldn't have done more. Part of that is just making sure that we do get our name out there and do talk to people as much as possible.
In a seat famous for turfing MPs after a single term, Bridget Archer is on the cusp of a 3rd stint, a feat not seen since the early 90s.
If she got re-elected again, that will be a very strong personal endorsement, and it will be about her brand.
Throughout the past 5 weeks, there has been a noticeable absence from Bridget Archer's campaign. Peter Dutton, the Liberal leader, has skipped Bass altogether, not stepping foot inside the electorate.
If it was deliberate, it was a sensible one, giving Bridget Archer the clear air to stand on her own and be the Bass candidate who's holding the seat. was probably a good strategy.
Strategy aside, it's still anyone's game.
I'm always happy to be responsible for what I do and what I say and how I behave.
I will rest easy tonight because I know that we did every single thing that we could.
Just who will come out on top? The next few hours will decide. Victoria Risto, 7 Tasmania News.
Southern Tasmanian fire crews were kept busy overnight, tackling 2 separate blazes only hours apart. An early morning Kingston fire is being treated as suspicious, with a man in police custody, while a person was hospitalised after a Moona home went up in flames last night.
Cordoned off and charred, authorities piecing together the cause of a fire after a home went up in flames late last night. Crews managing to get the upper hand quickly.
Made entry, suppressed the fire within about 10 minutes.
Firefighters arriving at the Amiens Avenue property around 11:30 to find the home well alight. The alarm raised by nearby residents saying smoke and flames could be seen billowing. Police say one person was inside during the blaze and was taken to the Royal Hobart Hospital. Initial investigations suggest the fire started on the right side of the house. From behind me you can see significant damage, with the windows completely smashed out and the sides torched. Meanwhile, firefighters were tasked with a house fire in Kingston around 8:30 this morning. Several crews were called to the Lewin Avenue property.
Upon arrival, fire crews from Kingston entered 2 firefighters in breathing apparatuses upon observing smoke issuing from the building when we arrived.
The unoccupied unit was significantly damaged, but police are not ruling out foul play at this stage.
It does appear at this stage that it's a suspicious fire, yes, but at this point in time there's a 52-year-old male in custody assisting us with our inquiries.
Authorities are investigating the cause of each blaze. Rebecca Gadaneris, 7 Tasmanian News.
2 men have been charged with a total of 60 offences after they allegedly evaded police during a chaotic chase along the Bass Highway yesterday. Dramatic dashcam footage capturing a blue Ford driving dangerously at around 1 p.m. A 22-year-old charged with 35 offences, among them dangerous driving, aggravated assault and attempted carjacking, while a 19-year-old Herdsman's Cove man is accused of stealing a motor vehicle and possessing a firearm. As the votes roll in, several Tasmanian seats are expected to form a key part of the results. One of those is Braddon, where we find Nick Kelly tonight. Hello, Nick. Labor's hopeful of causing an upset there.
Yeah, absolutely, Lou. A good yardstick for how badly a party wants to win a seat is how many visits you get from the leader. And Anthony Albanese has dropped into Braddon almost every time he's visited Tasmania, hopeful of toppling the Liberals, who have a 8% margin from last election, which is pretty difficult to overcome. But Gavin Pearce is retiring, and so Labor's put up Anne Urquhart, a well-known senator and Northwest identity, to try and steal this seat from Mal Hingston, who the Liberals have put up to try and retain it. We haven't seen any votes roll in for Braddon just yet from the AEC Counting Centre. However, there is another big race brewing in Tassie at the moment. That's where I find myself in Ulverstone tonight at Jackie Lambie's party. She's vying for her what will be her final stint in the Senate in Canberra. However, as we've seen throughout the week, One Nation's hoping to topple her. They think that Tassie's had enough of Jackie and we want some One Nation. They put up Pauline's daughter Lee for one of the Tasmanian Senate seats. As for how that'll go, I guess we'll find out in the coming days, Lee.
We certainly will. An interesting one to watch. Thank you for that, Nick. And it's the day butchers and voters have been waiting for, queuing in droves to sample democracy sausages at polling booths across Tasmania. Schools celebrating the chance to vote in many different ways. One getting into the baking spirit with political themed treats.
It seems the election excitement isn't just reserved for those old enough to vote.
Happy Election Day!
2 sausages, no onion.
Tasmanians lining up for the all-important democracy sausage. Oh, and to pick the next leader of our country.
It's absolutely popping off here this morning.
Fair dinkum, well, we must be up to a good 200 to 300 by now, wouldn't we?
For those skipping the midday queues, Glenorchy Primary proved the place to be. Coffee an essential pre-voting requirement.
I've been here since 8 and I reckon I've sold somewhere between 30 and 40 already, so I'm doing all right.
Young people and those voting for the first time especially keen to make sure their voices are heard.
The future, like climate change and stuff, and just better for the environment and stuff.
I'm really looking for politicians to listen to young people a bit more, which I think they are, because they're realising how important our votes are.
At Mount Nelson, themed treats was the way to go. The local primary school raising funds for a grade 6 trip to Canberra to visit those in charge.
We've had Wilkie Wonka chocolate cakes, and we've had Heck Yes vanilla butter cake, and we've had Jackie Lambie's.
Today's the day Australians are faced with a very big decision, potentially a life-changing one. I also find myself faced with a big decision: onion or no onion?
Look, onion or no onion is the question we ask all the time. It's probably 50-50, to be honest, yeah.
Politicians making some big last-minute pledges.
There is no barbecue here at the Glenorchy Primary School, so if I'm re-elected, I think that will make that a priority. It's the biggest polling booth in the electorate, and I can't get a democracy sausage. This is a terrible turn of events.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmanian News.
And voting is serious business. Politicians from all over the world blending in nearly too well, with volunteers handing out political pamphlets today. The cast of this year's uni review spruiking their next performance, Dim-Witted, a take on the famed musical Wicked.
Jackie is the best character in the show. Trump will say he's the best, no one does it better than him, but actually, all jokes aside, Jackie is the standout of the show.
It's just a bit silly. We've got Trump, we've got Jackie, we've got some of your favourite characters that you'll come along and see, and a whole lot of mischief.
The shows start next Friday. Western Australian sheep shearer's ambitious trike tour of the country has seen him arrive in Hobart. Lenny Deacon hoping to raise $1 million for mental health research and suicide prevention in memory of his good friend Dipper. He's already ridden 5,500 kilometres and doesn't yet know when his journey will wrap up.
I don't think you can put a time limit on conversations surrounding mental health, so if I put a timeline on it, that would contradict what I'm trying to do.
Donations to Lenny's cause can be made on the Breakthrough Foundation website. The dust is settling at Quercus Park tonight after a bumper 3 days of Agfest. The final day certainly didn't disappoint, with close to 23,000 people streaming through the gates. That takes this year's overall attendance to over 55,000. While there might be some tired boots on the ground, organisers are already thinking about the 2026 event, locking in May 7 to 9 next year. Clarence Football Club has handed North Hobart their first loss of the SFLW season.
To flip the script from their meeting 2 weeks ago, they're going to score a big 3-goal victory over North Hobart. The top 2 in the competition. 18 points the final margin. Clarence get the chocolates today.
The Demons went down by 18 points. Some sweep redemption for the Roos, who fell short by 11 points the last time the two sides came together. Wynyard's undefeated run in the NWFL is no more. The Burnie Dockers handing the Cats their first loss of the season, with 2 final quarter goals from Leon O'Halloran sealing the 15-point win.
Wynyard on the back burners, it's a high lurking kick. Got there.
It was a very different story for the Wynyard women though. The Cats handing the Dockers an 84-0 walloping, keeping them comfy on top of the ladder. And a Tasmanian teen cycling sensation has clinched a maiden European victory, narrowly taking out stage 1 of the Giro Abruzzo. Pushing through the hills of the Italian village of Manopello, Vinnie Magnan held off a fast-approaching peloton.
I went into the race knowing that I would try and go solo on the second last lap, and yeah, I was lucky it works.
The 17-year-old took home the win by just 3 seconds.
Good evening. Hobart and Launceston recorded 19 today, 17 in Devonport and also Burnie. King Island and Smithton saw 20 degrees, 19 on Flinders, and also at Low Head, St Helens, Grove and Strawn. Friendly Beaches and Bushy Park 17 and 15 the maximum in Lyweenie. More cloudy conditions were seen across Western Tasmania and the Bass Strait Islands today. Smoke is also visible from fires about the Upper Derwent Valley. Areas of high cloud are seen here over SA and across our state. Tomorrow, high over the Tasman Sea and New South Wales will extend a ridge over much of the continent. North-northwesterly winds reaching up to 35 knots at times about the central west and southwest. West to southwesterly swells will build to 3 metres. A gale warning has been issued tomorrow for waters between southeast Cape to Sandy Cape. There is also a strong wind warning for coastlines between St Helens Point to southeast Cape to include the far northwest coast. A mostly sunny Sunday in the south tomorrow. Hobart and Richmond can enjoy 21 degrees, 22 in Ouse. Fine also in Launceston, 21, 19 in Devonport and also Deloraine. Burnie, mostly sunny, 19, 21 and sunny also in Strawn with winds picking up. A similar story in Curry with 22. Lovely conditions towards the east tomorrow, 20 in St Helens, Swansea and Whitemark, both 21. Monday, showers developing about the north and west in the afternoon with possible thunderstorms remaining about the west. Showers on Tuesday, but mainly about the north and west, but possibly extending statewide. And on Wednesday, showers falling as snow to 900 metres about the south in the evening, with most temps hovering in the late teens. We'll take a look now at conditions across the country for Sunday. Mostly sunny in Adelaide tomorrow and remaining warm there with 27 degrees. Fine too in Melbourne and Sydney, but showery across Brisbane and also Cairns. Hobart and Devonport, cloudy 14 degrees, cloudy also in Launceston with 13. Lou, I'll return a little later with a weather update.
All right, thank you for that, Kaya. And that's all your news for now. Stay with us though on 7 Tasmania. Our special coverage of the federal election, Australia Decides, continues right now. Thank you for joining us. We will be with you again tomorrow. Good night.